Welcome back, Bravehearts. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf. This is DocStar TV, and today we are doing another show. Yes, another show. And today will be the 5th show with Food Forest Abundance. And today we have Sophia Erickson, and she's going to be talking about, well, Food Forest Abundance and amongst other things. But before I bring her on, I'd like to say something. Isn't it the craziest thing? When we get out of school, whether we've gone 12 years or we go to college or we go to university, we don't know how to feed ourselves. We don't know how to grow anything. We don't know how to feed ourselves. Now, you know what? I'm going to try to say something here, and I want you to try to just let it just sit on the back burner after I say it. Okay. So, I was on the phone this week with a mother that I am supposed to do an intervention with her teenage daughter. Okay? Now, she says that she's misbehaving. And, well, the reality is this. I did the intervention with the daughter. After a half an hour, I said, look, I'm going to need to speak to your parents. Now, whether you believe this or not, we've all been indoctrinated. But I said to the mother, I said, it's not your fault, but you gave your child away to the government when she was like 5 years old. And then you left her there 8 to 9 hours a day, all right? And then you were with your child maybe a couple hours a day. I'm not taking anything away or trying to punish the mother or do anything like that. I'm trying to tell her that it's not your fault. And it's also not your daughter's fault. So let's not look for your daughter being at fault when the government raised your daughter. Does anybody see what the government does? Most people don't. The majority of the population, they become so toxic, they don't have the energy to take their life back. And they also don't know what courage is, okay? And they don't really believe in a lot. Some people, you know, they'll have a religion or they'll have addictions, or they'll have some things going on, but guess what? We gave our authentic selves up a long time ago. Why do you think they call adults adulterated? And that adulterated means just that we were poisoned on an emotional and physical level. And the reality is, if you don't believe me, why don't you just go into the cupboards of 99 out of 100 families, and you'll find out that they're all doing self-poisoning. Now, the reality is what we're trying to say here is, whoa, man, I need to wake up. I need to wake up right now. And the reality is this. We've been taught that it's just back-breaking, sweating, bugs in your mouth, in your teeth, okay, if you're going to grow a garden. But we're not going to grow a garden. We're going to let the garden grow itself, okay? We're going to get more logical about it. You've been sold something that they want you to be scared of. Because look seriously, why don't you just take your weight of the food, take the actual weight of the food, okay, by weight volume, and tell me what came straight from the farmer, from the soil, and what was actually a processed food, what was actually manipulated. Anything that comes from a corporation is, well, the word corpse is in there for a reason. All I'm trying to tell you is this. I need you to have a new attitude. And I need you to think about your lawn in the front and your lawn in the back. And even if you live in an apartment, I need you to think outside the box. Well, better still, let's just get rid of the box. What do you think, Sophia?
100% agree with what you just said. It's like where we should all be looking and starting and becoming more aware and asking questions. If something's not working, there's a reason for that, but there's also a solution out there.
That's right. You need to challenge everyone in authority. That means me. Anybody that's going to be doing anything with your finances, anything to do with your life, anything to do with your food, anything to do with your children, you need to challenge those people. And I'm one of them. You need to challenge me. Because as soon as people get authority, sometimes they get a little bit pompous, don't they? Okay? And guess what? It doesn't take a lot of money to sell, okay, for someone to sell their integrity today. I'm serious. It's not your fault, but the majority of the population can be bought. We already know that. I'm just doing my job, right? Didn't we just hear that too often? Anyway, Sophia, can you tell us what is your job? What is it what's your passion? What's your purpose? And what do you do with Food Forest Abundance? And then also give us a background of how you came here to be.
On planet Earth or in this interview?
Well, no, this is actually a family show, so leave that other thing out of there.
No, whoa, that was not going there. So, okay.
I'm only kidding. I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding.
Okay, my name is Sophia Erick. I'm American and Swiss. Lived in Germany for 35 years. Came back in 2022 in August to the US and was deeply shocked by the state of affairs because just commuting hadn't showed me what's really going on here. And the most important thing really is understanding that we have probably the unhealthiest population and the unhealthiest youth in the world. And it's a tragedy because America is so full of pioneers and isn't probably the most innovative country, I think, in the world. So I'm here representing Food Forest Abundance, which is an absolutely how do I put this into like simple terms? I am deeply honored to be working with a company led by a man, Joe Gale, who is walking this talk, and that is extremely rare. Not only that, but he's willing to be led by principals and by teachers who know more than he does, and that's also very unusual. So he's a real leader, and he's amazing to work with. And I have been, most of my life, I've experienced the startup sphere. So I've worked with and for and had my own startups, and it's a very difficult area to work in. And so I've seen a lot of companies come and go and have experienced like what does it take and what's missing, and so Food Forest Abundance is pioneering the way to educating the world and providing a platform to understand that food is medicine and how simple it is for anybody, even without a green thumb, to grow your own food. And the understanding used to be, before corporatism and commercialization, everything took over this area, that food is medicine. And the understanding, I think, just somehow got erased after we allowed ourselves to be dumbed down. I think that's where it started. And now we're starting to wake up again, and now we need teachers and experts who will guide us back to our roots, which is nature, where we come from. So that's what Food Forest Abundance stands for. I'm Chief Innovation, something like that.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. I'll make a few mistakes here, and then we'll level it up the playing field.
So my background is...
Your what?
Yes. So my background is innovative technology,
Yep.
marketing, building sustainable communities, branding, and pioneering the way for ethical technology.
Beautiful. I've got a couple questions that I've put down, so if I can start. Can you discuss particularly challenging project or campaign you worked on and how you navigated it while staying true to your ethical principles? Now, I made this question because guess what? That's not going on anymore. Ethics is thrown out the door. People have, I told my staff this year, I said, the only thing that you better focus on is integrity, and we are competing with no one, okay? We will not compete with anybody, but what we will do is support everybody. So, what do you think of the question?
Well, most people won't even know what to say if you ask them, what do you understand about what is ethics? And so most people won't even know how to understand that, let alone the human paradox, which is how we're designed as human beings and why we party. I don't want to offend anybody, but matter of fact is it was so extremely difficult to function in that environment, regardless of how ethical Mr. Kennedy might be, and I can't judge make judgments about that because I don't know personally. But I think I needed about a month to recover working on that campaign for only 4 months. I was just beyond exhausted and depleted from that experience. And no matter how many ethical standards I had, I was just bulldozed over again and again and again by what was happening. And that is an arena that is extremely toxic. And so that was probably the most ethical for me was actually exiting the campaign. So that was my, speaking of, being true to yourself, that was my solution for that. But it's very challenging, and sometimes the ethical decision is not the easiest, but it's the right decision, and that might sometimes mean that you have to let go of things in your life, people, circumstances, foods, and beliefs. It comes down to that as well.
I couldn't have said it better, and that's it. If you want to find your authentic self, if you want to rise, if you want to really get into what you're all about, you have to, you're not, how can I say this? I tell people you're not losing friends, you're gaining newer ones. If you're not, how can I say it? Well, what I do is I make sure that I hang around with, listen to, and people that challenge me to become more and that know more than I do. And that's it. That's all. I like to think of myself as not so much of a thinker, but a feeler. If we feel our way through life, we'll know where we belong and where we don't belong. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How do you see the role of digital and social media evolving in the context of promoting sustainable living and environmental awareness? Because, they kind of have to come together if you're going to reach the masses, right?
Well, I think the digital area and social media are extremely powerful tools that we have to raise awareness for example, sustainable living.
Right.
And so I do think that we have to rethink how we use social media, and it's so extremely powerful that we're still learning how to use it. And so we can help shift public perception by engaging with a wider audience. That also means that I think that we're going through a shift right now where the technology solutions we see, for example, social networks, are starting to fade because new ones are coming in and will replace the old. I don't know what's going to happen with Facebook, but I think we have new emerging tech solutions, and we need them because we need, and this is my area of expertise, is we need solutions that support us in our evolutionary process and are designed for our highest good and not.
Oh my gosh, I don't mean to cut you off, but did you hear what you just said? We need to change because, or else we're not going to evolve. If we don't let go of these other things, we're not going to evolve. So that's really what it's about, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And the social networks we see are still designed based on the old system. It's not nowhere equal. So it should be give and take, win-win for both sides. So they're sitting on all the data that we can access, and it would give us so much value that we'd be so much more satisfied and get so much more out of these social networks. But they're so reluctant, and they're like, no, we're just going to keep on taking. So I think that they're just going to die out, those that don't evolve with us, because I think right now humanity is further along the road than technology, and that might surprise many because there's this fear of AI and all that. I think that we're ahead, and our conscious awareness is evolving at a much faster speed than technology solutions are now catching up on. So we need the tech innovators to step up, especially those who understand what's needed, and those are the ones that will really help shape our future, and they're direly needed. We do not have enough, and I also would love to see more women in tech. because we have not only, but it would help balance out the male-female aspect of how to create or how to design, how to help shape society, considering the effect it has on our youth and children. And I think it would be extremely important that more women step up and help us shape the future of technology. And I think America could be a leading country in that area, as America is extremely innovative and fast in its development, ability to develop.
I agree. We need more women in that sector because we need to cut back on the love of power and start bringing in the power of love and care. And we know we're going to get that because women are built with that, and men are quickly taught that that's a weakness. With your background in technology solutions, what innovations do you believe are key to advancing sustainable and ethical business practices? Okay, because I know that you're coming, I know that that's why you're linked up with Food Forest Abundance and Jim Gale, because he wants that, and he wants to make sure that his dream doesn't go sideways or get compromised.
Yes, data protection is important. Well, in the tech sphere, I would say innovations in renewable energy and waste reduction are really, really, really important. And then in the digital platforms, I think facilitating community-based sustainability initiatives are also really important. So and impactful. So the access is probably the most important thing I see we need to focus on. Access to information, curated information. So there's so many people in the world who have knowledge about something, who have wisdom and knowledge, and are educated in what we need. And then we have so many people who are waking up and need access to that. And so we need solutions that bring us together. And I think platforms and communities are the one way to go, and that's what I am working on with Food Forest Abundance. And we will be launching a solution in the next months that will offer the ability for people to connect based on those who are seeking solutions and those who have it. So I think that we should all come together. And as you said something beautiful before. You said, this is not about competition. This is not, we're out of the time of zero-sum game. We need to work together, and we need many, many different solutions for every single taste, and every solution, every platform will have a different functionality and meet a different taste of what people are looking for. And even if we had another 100 platforms that I see we will be able to design, we still won't have enough for the need that I see in the world right now of people seeking solutions and wanting to find somebody that they can click with and learn from. Because sometimes we can see somebody in a community or in a family still feeling like a black sheep, and the only possibility they have not feeling like they're gonna drown is find an online community. Like following you, that gives so much hope to people. It's like, wow, I love discovering new people and new opportunities through watching Daryl Wolf. And I think that's so extremely important what you're doing. And that's just somebody in Australia or New Zealand or Iceland might be watching you, and you're giving that person hope, and you're a role model. I think role models are extremely important, and we have the power of the internet, so we should use it.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. And, there was a time in my life where my father was a big one on we need to be in service of everyone. That used to just piss me off. But now I get it, because, you find your passion and your purpose, and then you understand that, we truly are one. It's not just some kind of flaky thing. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it, When I was younger, it was language, it was color, it was so many things that would separate religion. And now I don't have any separation. There's no separation. I don't have any separation for anything. You know, the thing is that we really do have to focus on what we love, and that's it. Just be there. Be there now. You've mentioned the importance of leading by design. Could you elaborate on this concept and how it applies to your work? Is that, again, just coming back to the integrity thing, or leading by design because of different things you're going to bring into food forest abundance, different ideas?
Yes, that's actually a really simple answer for me because I feel like that really has to do with what does it mean to be a role model, and that means leading myself. It starts with that. When
Yeah.
we start leading ourselves, then we can actually even become a leader. A leader just means I'm leading myself. For me, it doesn't mean anything else, and that's why I would also say Jim is such an amazing leader because I experience him on a daily basis leading himself, and that makes me really respect him. And I also have the feeling you're somebody, you lead yourself. And I think these are the leaders of the future are those that really truly understand and incorporate that understanding that it's an inner job. We need to work on ourselves and understand by which intention are we leading ourselves. And so that's what I mean with leading by design. And it's basically we are our own designers of our own reality, or we create our own reality. And then by what ethical standards do we lead ourselves? When we encounter a challenge, do we blame the other person, or do we realize, wait a minute, that could actually be that could be something that's going on within myself, not always, but be reflective and be aware. I remember there's an amazing book by Rhonda Byrne. It's a new book. I think it's The Greatest Secret. And she was asked, what would be the one thing that you would like to leave humanity if you would leave today, like leave planet Earth or whatever? And she said, awareness. Awareness is the one thing, she said, the key element that is needed for humanity to evolve. And I think that's really where I would also...
Self-awareness. Are you meaning like self-awareness? Because
Yes.
most people aren't even aware of themselves, and to the point that they can't even know, or they don't even know how to respect themselves. And then they wonder why others don't, right?
It's hard, and that's why we need role models. We need people that are already where we want to be, and then we can recognize, where are we compared to that, and that's not that shouldn't be us judging ourselves or comparing ourselves for the sake of feeling a lack, but it should be motivational. It's like, wow, somebody else has already proven I could get to that place. Everybody in the world who's achieved something I haven't is representative of something I
Right.
can have. And so I think that's important to see that and not get out of the lack mentality. That's why I love that Jim chose Food Forest Abundance. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question then. What do you believe will be the biggest challenge that Food Forest Abundance will have with getting their message out to people? Because people are just so toxic or so programmed that they fear maybe taking their food into their